WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users.
You're building the empire,
and we'll help you protect it.
Because even the most powerful women
still have trust issues. Welcome back to Trust Issues, where money meets mindset, legal meets legacy, and power meets protection.
All right.
I am so excited today because it's been almost a full year of the Trust Issues podcast.
It feels like it's been a long time. We've been doing this for a minute.
We've been doing it for a minute, but we ended 2025, and we thought that it would be fitting for us to do like a recap of 2025 because, that's when we actually officially came together.
Yeah.
Trust Issues podcast, and I think that it's only, like I said, it's only befitting that we kind of do a recap of what we covered, what we did in 2025. I think that's good.
Yeah. So we are your hosts. I am Erica Hall with EH Wealth Advisors, one of your co-hosts, and this is
Urenia Ricks Johnson with Ricks & Associates PLLC, and I'm your resident attorney.
Yeah, giving you that insight and all that good stuff. And so we're going to recap what we've done, and then we want to know, what have you done?
Yes, what did you do in 2025?
Yeah, what did you do with the information that we've shared with you? And if you have not subscribed to the podcast, we just want to take this moment right now and ask you to hit that subscribe, that follow, that notification bell. Why? I've had some people tell me, ever since I started watching, I've started implementing some of the things that, that you bring things to light. And I can't wait till that next episode pops up the next week. So I get the notifications and everything. So make sure you get the notifications because we try to make sure that it's like timely based on when it's time to file or it's time to do things. So 2025 was a good year for the individual who is getting their stuff together.
Yes, and we hope that we have provided you with some information to help you to get your things together. And like you said, I've had several individuals that have said to me that how the podcast has helped them. Make sure you comment in the comment section too. Let us know how we are affecting your life. Make sure that if you have any questions for us, make sure that you respond in that chat or just send us an email because we'll be sure to address it on the podcast because we're looking forward to interacting with you.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking?
What you thinking?
I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest.
Please
and
do.
When I say that, people say, I hope you always honest.
Right.
But it's just like, stop and let me say this.
Okay. Stop what you're doing.
How much of what we've shared with one another, like you're coming from this perspective, I'm coming from that perspective. And when you talk, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to do that. I need to check those are some things that I need to implement. And so I would say that I've grown, sitting across the table and sitting across the table from you here and in other settings, right? Even last night.
We learned so much. I told you
at the workshop.
I told you that I had learned about, I didn't know how essential when you were sharing about, like yesterday, so we had a event with Corporate Development Institute with a nonprofit, and we talked about just basically budgeting, estate planning with individuals. But you brought out something connected to a high yield savings account.
Yeah.
And that was something that I'm just going to be honest.
Be honest.
I have just ignored the emails. I get them all the time from American Express, but I have just ignored them because it's just like, okay, I got the credit card. Why do they want me to get something else?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I just didn't think of how it would benefit me until you said it yesterday, and thought about the money that I do have in savings accounts, and I don't have it in is the money that I have saved or in my savings per se. I have it, of course, in investment accounts, but not in a high yield savings account. And I was just note to self.
Right. Yep. Note to self. Write it down.
Yes.
So it's been a year of growth, revelation, real talk.
Real talk.
We've had some guests to open up about financial traumas, about financial issues, rebuilding after loss, navigating credit, and all this kind of stuff. And so looking at how the laws and regulations have impacted the decisions that we've made, because sometimes we have to adjust because the programs and systems that we use, the laws change, the rules change.
The rules change. And you know what else I was thinking that, as we're doing our recap, we did a lot of information on that big, beautiful bill. And a lot of things are going to be implemented this year.
Yeah.
So
you know what I watched? I was looking at the
people.
stats. That was one of our highest watched show.
Wow.
Yeah. The big, beautiful bill.
Okay.
Yeah, because people want to know.
They want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know what's going to affect, because right now it's going to affect them in the future. And even this year, some of the things that we talked about are being implemented this year from a legal perspective. So it's very important that you pay attention and go back and watch our segment on the big, beautiful bill, because we broke it down. We talked about whether it was beautiful or not. We talked about the provisions in there that were beneficial and who they were beneficial to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've typically have found that if someone is calling something, well, typically when it comes to, let's say, policies and laws, they use a lot of acronyms. And when they use colorful words, they're typically the opposite. Like the Pension Protection Act. That didn't protect pensions. It actually protected employers from having to pay pensions or automatically provide or having to provide pensions. It essentially eliminated the pension program.
Right, but it was labeled
the Pension Protection Act.
And that's the reason why we have to, and this is where what you get with trust issues. We break down behind those barriers, because a lot of times we know marketing. It's buzzwords. It's things out there that really, once you get into the surface, you're just, as you keep reading, you really realize that there's more to it, that it may be able to benefit you, but there's more things in there that don't benefit you, that are kind of hidden in there without you necessarily knowing it.
Yeah, because, a lot of people, myself included, sometimes reading is fundamental.
It is.
And sometimes we just don't read. We don't read the fine print, or we listen to what the word is on the street, right? So when we break down the big, beautiful bill, when we talk about the provisions, a lot of the impact, or a lot of the negative impact, is going to be on social welfare services. But the social welfare services that in order for it to be that bridge to help you get to where you need to, it's checking in, that now you have to, instead of annual checking in, you have to do it every 6 months. You have to recertify. And the one thing that you just don't want to do is lose your benefits for lack of knowledge, for lack of information.
And that's important. And just understanding that, okay, the provision is there, and yes, we may have a fundamental problem with it because of the extra barriers that it enables, but once it's law, we have to follow it if we want what's connected with it. If you don't want to lose the benefits, then you have to go that extra mile. And so now that you can prepare for it. You know that instead of waiting for that year to figuring out what you need to do, you have to prepare before then.
Yeah, I was thinking about, how can we I know being a part of the church, and how can we help those who need that kind of information, because it's not always clear. For example, when it comes to the Medicare provisions, the changes that are going to take place in there, one of the patterns that I have begun to see when I meet with my clients is that they're being forced off of traditional coverage where you get to, or PPO coverage where you get to pick and choose your doctor. You pay a little more in premiums, but being forced into Advantage plans. Yes. Where they're being forced into Advantage plans. And one has to wonder, why. You have to ask the question. And one thing that we try to get them to understand is that every year those plans they expire.
Yes.
And when they're pushing folks into the Advantage plans, not only are they brand new, different coverages, they also are private plans.
They're also private plans.
Yeah.
And just understanding that, a lot of things are based on the business of it.
Yeah.
And
that's the point.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
our healthcare system is big business.
Yeah.
In America, it's
business
more,
for sure.
It's more business in it than it is sometimes about. And I'm not saying that across the board there's not a feeling of making sure that people have what they need when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
But it's also that balance of the big business aspect of it, where the more they're able to privatize it, the more bigger corporations receive more money.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I was trying to find on my phone one of the guests, or one of the persons who had watched one of our episodes had sent me a question. Someone that I know, and was asking about what did I think about why they were steering them towards the Medicare Advantage plan, because initially the premiums are lower. Mm-hmm. They started off in years before where the premiums were like, zero. You didn't have to pay anything for a monthly premium. You had a low copay for doctor's visits, or no copay for some doctor's visits, and a low copay for prescriptions. Some prescriptions, most prescriptions you can get for free. Mm-hmm. But what they began to find out is that you are limited to, they get to dictate the doctors that you can go see.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very limiting. And then once again, you may not get the proper health assistance based on that, because it's about the business aspect that it is about the person and what the person needs. And that should be the focus, because if you need someone that's out of the network, if you need someone that's a better fit for you. We talked, remember we had Deborah here that talked to us about, the care that she does as a nurse practitioner.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times.
That was a good show.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times her bedside manner with nurse practitioners, and we talked about that. We talked about how, especially as women going into doctors, to seeing them and them being able to care for what we're looking to have taken care of, that care being there, on whether we can go see that doctor or not, that we want to go see, whether that doctor is in our network or not, is a crucial issue.
I'm so glad you said that, because I know I'm not by myself. So I had this really great doctor. I think I told you about her. Really great doctor. The reason she was so great is because she did everything I told her to do. Mm-hmm. Right? Everything I asked her to do, because I understand and know, and I'm not being funny when I say that. Okay. That's very important to me.
It's very.
Because I am in tune with my health. Mm-hmm. I'm very particular about my diet, and I've gotten to the point to where if I start having an issue, I want to address it right away. Right. And so I would go to this doctor, and she was younger than me, and she was younger than me, but her bedside manner was great, and she did more of an assessment like I would do with the client. Okay. Where we would come up with a treatment plan, or these are the things that you say you want to address. Let's kind of step our way into those things. And then here's some things that you can start to do preventatively. And then if that doesn't help, then let's go and we can escalate it and get into the MRIs, going in to get an X-ray or what have you. I loved her approach because it was very respectable of how I view my health and how I advocate for myself. Yes. Right. But then she left. Oh no. She not only left that practice, she left the healthcare system. She left the healthcare system because she said that the healthcare system was making her take on all these patients that she wasn't fulfilling this quota. It was a lot of pressure. So she decided to go into private practice, but she's not going through the health insurance. I was like, oh my. So she was setting her practice up. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I had not, but I have heard of them leaving their practice and doing. I had my OBGYN. She did that. She moved to a couple different offices based on what they were requiring her to do.
What they were requiring.
And
I did not.
think that is just that's a problem sometimes, even for our doctors. And just knowing that going in is a very real thing that we need to understand that's happening.
So she kind of like slid me her number. She was like, you can follow me if you like, or you can stay here and see one of the other doctors. Now, following her would mean that I would have to pay out of pocket to see her.
Wouldn't accept any.
She's not going through the insurance company. Now, so I decided to stay at because I got health insurance.
Right.
Go in to see the next doctor, completely different experience. I told the doctor what was wrong with me. She told me that's not what was wrong with me.
Oh.
She said, oh, well. I said, well, I would like to address it. And, at least and at most, I probably want to do some kind of testing.
Right.
X-ray or something to see, what's going on with my back. It was my back. And she said, well, she basically all of but told me, well, I'm not going to support that. And I was like, oh, well, then we don't need to, there's nothing else to talk about. I'm out. I left. I'll find me another doctor. You're fired. I don't need you.
Right.
Yeah. You don't get to tell me how I can address my health. Exactly. And so I think that's the perspective that that some folks are having when it comes to, how you're going to be serviced with your doctor. That I'm telling you, I know I'm not a doctor. I know that you have gone to medical school and you've studied, but now here's a question between the management of my care.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's so important that you are able to advocate, and we hope that that's what you have learned from when we brought in Deborah and just us talking about that, the importance of making sure that you advocate for your health.
Oh yeah.
And those things are important, and they can be the difference between life and death sometimes, as far as you really bringing those things to the doctor's attention. You really catching things early, doing those things, and it's important.
Yeah. I think I think families definitely want that to be a part of family knowing what's going on. You find out something serious has been going on, and you want to go back and get that doctor.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So I was also thinking about when we do our 2025 look back, all that good information that you get, how much of it do we implement? Right.
That's the part of it. That's the part of it that needs to go that step further, because, information without implementation is sometimes it's wasted information, because you are prompted to move, and it is great to get the information, but if you're prompted to move and it is applicable to your life, at some point in time, we have to get up off the couch and move forward in some way with implementing those things. And I think that if we have helped someone to at least understanding about legacy planning, we talked a lot about legacy planning and how it's almost like a love language. It protects your family when you no longer can do it, and taking that step to do that and not just leave it up to your family to decide what's happening and leave them in chaos.
Here was our quote: "If you love me, cover me."
If you love me,
Yeah.
cover me. Yes,
Yeah.
those were some great episodes to talk about, what people think about. And a lot of times we are reactional. We think about things after things happen, but we want to be proactive in 2026. So we hope that 2025 helped you to think about and hopefully implement being proactive.
Yeah, so with 2025 financial planning, I think we talked about at least 3 lanes: cash flow management, definitely with the legacy you mentioned. The other one was protection and risk management.
Yes.
So we talked about cash flow, managing your cash flow, budgeting, all those things. So this is what you mentioned from last night. I've been promoting the buckets. Did I show y'all the?
Yes.
I showed you the buckets, right? The bucket system, and those are pretty popular when it comes to financial planning. The bucket system, where you got your short term, midterm, long term, and so hopefully you all have implemented your financial planning, your cash flow management. We talked about your short term being that your cash flow. That's what you pay your bills out of, and most people know. Okay, they say you should have 6 months of living expenses saved up in an emergency fund. But what is it earning? Is it earning some interest?
That's so true.
Is it earning some interest? I'm going to share real quick. I was kind of devastated one time to find out. I was with this association, and they had millions of dollars in the bank. They had a couple $1 million in the bank, operating funds and things like that. I was shocked to find that the money was not earning basic interest.
Wow.
It was not earning any interest, and I said, that's why folks need they need a financial person to come in and bring your attention to some things that you may not even consider. Then that midterm bucket is that bucket where you're investing, but it's not geared towards retirement. And whenever you have an emergency and you have to deplete your emergency fund, those monies, you can use them to replenish your emergency fund. And then you got that long-term bucket. We talked about that for your retirement. And so that's like 3 easy approaches. That's your IRA, your 401k or something like that. 3 easy approaches that you can. Did you implement that in 2025? I want to know. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the chat. Did you implement at least one bucket?
Yeah.
But hopefully you've done all 3. Hopefully you have something in each category.
Yeah.
And then we talked about charitable giving and community impact.
Oh, yeah.
That was some great things. We talked about giving it as a tool for impact and financial stewardship. We talked about, even giving toward this last year. And then you shared something at the seminar yesterday that I want you to share about the paying yourself when you, in a traditional IRA, if you end up owing the government.
Oh, yeah. You like that, huh?
I love that. I think you need to share that. Because, it was light bulb that went off for me concerning, just thinking about my clients or thinking about, just the fact of what advantage that could be, or even for myself.
Oh, yeah, because tax season is quickly approaching. It'll be April 15th before you know it. And so, so I have been, having relationships with accountants. They're doing taxes, and when they get folks who may owe $3,000, $4,000 at the end of the year, for when they're doing their taxes, they haven't submitted the taxes yet. They let them know that you still have up until April 15th to make a contribution to your IRA. And when you make a contribution to your IRA, dollar for dollar, those dollars are deducted from your taxes owed. That's a deduction that you get to take. It gets factored into the whole preparation of your taxes, but that should prompt you, well, instead of me paying it out as a tax bill, here I can reduce my taxable income by making that contribution to my IRA.
Okay, I'll be seeing you this coming week. I need to do that.
Yes.
I just thought about that, as well, as far as just thinking about things financially. That would be a great thing to do.
That's it.
That's why you need to have EH Wealth advisors on your team.
Yeah, some strategies.
That strategy is very good because especially if you're a business owner too.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that you have some type of contribution. Now, I do contribute to an IRA through the business, for me for long term.
Yeah,
I have a couple things that I do, but I just never thought about, just having that as a aspect of making sure that I don't owe based on what I made last year.
Yeah.
And just going over what I made last year, I think that may have to be a tool for me.
And it's great to know that so this is why you want to make sure that you aren't, look, I don't know if it was just me. I'm going to go ahead and share that it was a thought that I grew up with that you wait to file. You don't got to file by April 15th.
Really?
Just file before the end of the year, or just get it done. File late. Mm-hmm. There was something in my community. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
This is a day of being honest. There was something in my community that I heard. Word on the street was when you file late, it would affect you how much you owe, or that
in a good way.
Like in a good way. I don't look. I didn't know.
No,
I didn't know. Right? I didn't know, and so this
I'm asking no judgment here.
Right? You'd be surprised. Word on what the word on the street says. Mm-hmm. The thing was filing late, that it wasn't a big deal. But I discovered after I got a little knowledge, and after I got into the business and started working with financial folks, that there's a whole lot to being proactive in your tax filing. There's a whole lot as a business owner. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot to being proactive with it, such as, did you know that as a business owner, do you all know that as a business owner, your tax filing date is actually in March?
It is. You're supposed to file earlier.
I said, and I don't know how many times my tax accountant told me that. I still was like, well, I'm not ready. She's like, well, we still have to file this for your business, whether you're ready or not. Now, your personal returns is April 15th, but your business returns are due in March. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So that means you have to be ready. And if you, and so as we're talking about for April 15th, so if you're proactive in your planning and you prepare your tax returns prior to that date, before the deadline, and you do owe, you can adjust and impact that number based on the preparation numbers by now making a pre-tax contribution or after-tax contribution to a traditional IRA, and it's going to adjust what you owe.
Wow.
Isn't that good to know?
That's good to know.
Yeah.
It's good to know. It's good practical information. See what you get here
cut
on trust
issues. Cut a check
issues.
to IRS or cut a check to yourself.
Yes.
To your future self.
To your future self.
Because now it's going in your IRA. You can't touch it to after 59 and a half. When the money comes out, it's growing. It's taxable at that time. But ideally, you'll be in a lower tax bracket.
Exactly. And you can ideally put that money aside and just have it keep growing and keep getting more and more. Yeah,
growing. I mean, money has time value. So giving it time to grow is going to put you in a position that you're going to have additional income in retirement.
Yes. See, look at those highlights. We had some great things. We talked about. We had another guest. We had Adelina Robinson that talked about the collaboration and impact that she's doing within the community. About the importance of making sure that we had connections with individuals within the community, and also being able to do things that you love to do, your passion, being able to pursue those things. And she's definitely pursuing her passion with working with children.
Listen, I think that was a great I think that's a great segue from the charitable giving, because she definitely has capture what it means to taking what you love to do and putting it into a structure that's going to impact not just one or two people, but entire communities. And so I used to say that, giving is, it should be premeditated, planned. It should be persistent. It should be private. Yep. And it should be something that I preach to. That's why I use all those P's.
Because you're a preacher,
right? That's how you remember.
Yes.
When you do stuff like that. But yeah, it's when it becomes a part of your personality. That's another P word. When it becomes a part of who you are, then
it's amazing.
It is, and what you began to realize is that the more you give, the more you receive, because God can trust you by bringing you those resources, because He know you're gonna get it out and get it to the right people. Amen. So bless Adelina, for what she's doing for the community, and so we've partnered with her.
Yes, we've partnered with her, and so this year we're going to be going to the daycare and doing some sessions for the parents. So we're going to keep you all posted on how that's going and how we're helping the individuals within the community to understand the importance of finances, to understand the importance of legal advocacy. So we're gonna help them along the way. That's how important it is.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is right on time because I have something so exciting to share with you.
Okay.
It's an implementation it's a new way to approach the immersive workshop experience for the participants.
Okay.
And so I can't wait till we get there to walk these folks through what it feels like to have a budget, to understand your finances, to plan your spending, to take advantage of the resources that are available to you, because knowledge is power.
It is.
It's power. And you know, how about we have a generation that can say, oh yeah, my family taught me about money.
Yes.
Right?
We're going to have them.
I know more than money don't grow on trees. Turn them lights out.
Right, turn them lights out.
Close my door.
Exactly. I know a little bit
Heating
more.
up
I know
all
about
outside.
investment.
Right.
I know about strategies for my money. I know about assigning my money. I know about all of those things.
Come on.
Just having those
Somebody
things
listen.
and actually implementing it is going to be
Yes,
great.
yes,
So,
yes.
we hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and we hope that you have been on the journey with us. Or if you're new to the journey, those are some of the things that we talked about in 2025, and we're looking forward to going and doing greater things in 2026.
Yeah, so let us know if you have implemented some of these things. If you have the cash flow checklist that we have shared in our show notes, in the descriptions, we've included some lead magnets down there, some things that you can download. I call them lead magnets. That's the marketing term, because you got to give us, you got to pay us with your attention and with your information in order to get the lead magnets. The legacy workbook we did together. Yeah. So in the legacy workbook, we talk about in life insurance, how you can build a legacy with life insurance. We also talked about those estate planning documents that you need to have in planning your estate. And I learned in all the workshops that I've been in that if you have $1, you have something that you want to set aside and plan as your estate. You need to do some planning, at least your durable power of attorney, your medical power of attorney, sitting down with your family and letting them know where everything is. I started sending out a little checklist to my clients.
Did you?
For when they have a death in the family, just some things to do immediately. Like I give them like a little timeline of things to do today, now, things that you can hold off on for later. And then I even had to do 2 separate ones. One for when if your family member dies with an estate.
Okay.
Or one if they die, with an estate plan. Or one if they die without an estate plan.
And that's important because there are different rules.
Yeah.
You have a guide. We learned that you have a guide when you have an estate plan. When you don't have an estate plan, you have
There's no guide. Yeah.
There's no guide to what you're doing. So, knowing that you have that guide makes it a lot easier, but you can still navigate through it. You can still push through it if you don't have that guide.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think we've given some great stuff.
I think so too.
Yeah. So, you ready
We're signing
ready
off.
to sign out? Okay. All right. I think we've covered enough. So if you go back through some shows, the one on legacy, that's the one that has that download.
Yes.
But you can reach out to us and let us know that you want to get some more information. We'd love to hear from you. This is Erica Hall with EH Wealth Advisors signing off.
And Urenia Ricks Johnson with Ricks & Associates. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Talk soon.
I'm Dorian.
And I'm Remy, and we're Elmar Furs, located in Oak Park, Michigan, and we watch
WVTC Detroit. Hey, are you in need of a jingle, a commercial? Or have you considered a podcast for your business or ministry? If so, let WVTC Radio Detroit be your choice. And guess what? Location is not a problem. We can pick you up and broadcast you from anywhere. For more information, please go to our website at WVTCDetroit.com or drop us an email at WVTCRadioDetroit@gmail.com. We're waiting to hear from you.
Hello, my name is Orlando Bogans, and I'm the biggest fan of WVTC, winning victory through Christ, Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.